Now, once upon a time in the West, madman lost his damn mind in the West. Love less, kidnap a dime, nothing less. Now I must.
We're going to just have some time to chat with a USC legend and a double USC legend, not only on the field, but also in the broadcast booth. Guys, we are so blessed tonight and so lucky to be joined by John Jackson. JJ, as you guys probably know him by, is a legendary USC broadcaster and wide receiver. And as part of the USC broadcast team, as well as a USC football legend, there's few that know the game better. JJ, welcome to the Pac-12 Chat Show.
Well, guys, thanks for having me. You're right. It's the right time of year, Thanksgiving, the holiday season, and we're still talking about Trojan football, so that's a good thing. So thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And as you talked about, Thanksgiving is a time of, be thankful for what you have. And nobody's more thankful than I am to actually be able to see this day, first of all, and have a son that will actually be on the field in the Pac-12 championship. I thought I'd never be able to see that, especially the way he played in the Pop Warner game when he was like 10.
So viewers out in the chat that are not familiar with John Jackson, he's a legend. When we talk about the Trojan family, John Jackson's father was a coach at USC, and John, as he alluded to, has a son that's a wide receiver, John Jackson III, and he's got a daughter that's on the soccer team, Simone. Awesome soccer player. I have a daughter that plays club soccer, and so JJ and I kind of have that going on. And JJ was on the USC baseball team. He was the MVP of the 1990 team, and that's really how I got hooked up today. I have a good friend, Jamie Davenport. Jamie, big shout out to you. Thank you for hooking us up. Jamie played baseball at USC with John Jackson, and he made the call today. And true enough, with the Trojan family, JJ says, yeah, I'll do it. No problem. So JJ, appreciate you having here. We're thankful that you're still recovering from your stroke and that you're here with us today. God bless you.
Well, guys, like I said, it's Thanksgiving. It's that type of year. It's that time of the season. With Thanksgiving, Christmas, of course, coming up right around the corner, and USC football still playing. That is a combination you can't beat. Only if Notre Dame and UCLA are playing this week and they lose, is there anything that will make me happier?
Now, many of you out there in the chat may not realize, but JJ, 3-time Pac-10 champion. He played with Rodney Peete and Todd Marinovich. He went to 3 Rose Bowls, and he won the third one. Todd Marinovich was your quarterback, and he beat Michigan in Bo Schembechler's last game. JJ, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the interesting thing, or the biggest memory I have, is the luncheon before the Rose Bowl. I was a captain of the team, so I got to go to the luncheon and get introduced in front of Bo Schembechler, and I had a chance to speak. And I told Bo, I said, hey, Bo, let's look at it this way. If we both have 70 years to live from this point forward, I'll get to enjoy this Rose Bowl championship a lot longer than you. So please take it easy on us on Saturday. Bo got a good laugh out of that and said that he's not going to tell his team to pull off, but he understood if we both have time to spend, that I'd get a chance to enjoy it a little bit more. Fortunately I did, but Bo Schembechler, what a legendary hero he was. I mean, I think that's one of the only names that you say Bo Schembechler, you automatically think of Michigan and great teams that he had. Desmond Howard, when you go down the line of great players that played at Michigan. Yeah, for you to put my name and Bo Schembechler's in the same sentence, that's big time for me. So thank you very much.
That's amazing. And JJ, you're the broadcaster along with Pete Arbogast, the voice of the Trojans, and you have a unique perspective because you've been on the broadcast for how long now? 15 years?
Yeah, it has been a long time. And I'll tell you, I don't know if I like having my name and legend in the same sentence, because that just means you're getting old. Legend is a sign for you've been around a long time.
How about vintage?
Yeah, vintage too. But that's only good when you're talking about wine.
There you go. Well, JJ, tell us about this team. What is your impression of this team? It's Lincoln Riley alluded to it at this press conference about a year ago that this was going to be the most unique roster in USC history and probably college football history. Looks like we're moving towards that. What are your impressions of the team?
Well, that's 100% on point with what Lincoln said. This is the unique roster because he's had so many transfers, so many new people to the program. A lot of times teams don't get well or good until they have like a really strong freshman recruiting class and they all grow up together and have success together. That's not the case. Of course, you guys know Lincoln got brought into an existing atmosphere of, plenty of good players, but as we're finding out, not as many great players as we might have thought they were in high school. I think that Lincoln has done a phenomenal job of getting players from all different parts of the country. Basically he was dealt a hand that he had to play. And he's got these players to mesh, get along with each other, and play at such a high level that I don't even think the players can believe it. With my son on the team, I got firsthand sort of, being able to witness and firsthand knowledge of, all the things that not all the things, but a lot of the things he's done to create the type of environment as he has. And the best way I can describe it, guys, it's like being a Navy SEAL. He brought all these guys together and basically, reading in between the lines said, look, I only want the strong. So he made the camps extremely strong. Difficult. When they lost to Utah the first time, they had a practices that were, really, really tough to get through. And like I said, it started with the summer workouts. He made the camp so difficult. The guys were quitting that sometimes I think a lot of people don't realize how many guys left the team because they weren't the big name guys. But there were guys that left this team because it was too hard. It was too difficult. My son, here's a good story. My son called me and said, Dad, I'm going to Target. I said, what are you going to Target for? He said, to get a mattress. I said, what do you need a mattress for? He said, because we're sleeping in the locker room because we don't want to wake up and we're afraid we might oversleep the alarm clock. So they slept in the locker room.
Wow, that is an interesting story. That is classic.
Just to make sure my son said, Dad, I cannot afford to miss that 15 minutes of sleep.
Wow. I've heard that Lincoln's like very punctual. You have to be like early or you're late.
Yeah, if you're 10 minutes early, that means you're 15 minutes late.
Wow.
Right.
I love that.
So
what's it like being a dad of the player as a former player?
Well, it's great because they're winning, right? But
that's true.
As a dad, it can be difficult because you're listening a lot. The only thing you hear is what your son portrays, and so you get caught in between saying, yeah, work them harder, and hey, son, are you okay? You want me to pat you on the back? So you're in between both, trying to balance the. There's been weeks upon weeks I haven't talked to my son because he's so tired. He said, Dad, we were supposed to go to breakfast one time, and I'm telling too many stories. This will be my last one.
No, we love it. You can keep go all night. But
we were supposed to go to breakfast, and my kids are famous for canceling on their dad. So we were supposed to go to breakfast, and my son calls me at first like 7:30 in the morning. I said, son, what's up? We're not supposed to go to breakfast till 10. He said, Dad, I have to cancel. And the first thing I did was overreact like I usually do and get mad. I said, you cancel? I said, man, are you kidding me? First of all, you call me first thing in the morning to cancel breakfast? I said, he said, first of all, you woke me up and now you're going to cancel them? I said, no, you're not. You're going to be here. He said, Dad, I can't walk. He said, Dad, practice is so hard, I can barely walk to the car. I can't make it. I said, okay, we'll skip breakfast this time.
Yeah, I think Benny Wiley got these guys tough. All the talk we're hearing out from Norman about how soft this team was going to be. I sent out a tweet when I saw Gentry run on the field with a high ankle sprain or an ankle sprain. Anybody's ever had an ankle sprain knows that every one of those hops probably shot daggers into that ankle, and it just shows you how tough and the toughness this team has now. And I think that was set by what happened in the offseason and what the guy like Benny Wiley really has them going, and it's set the tone, I think. So I love hearing stories like that.
I hate to cut you off, but I also think that a lot of these guys say, and my son included, say, look, after all that work we had to do in the summer and everything, there's no way I'm going to miss a game. That's the fun part. The fun part of the game. Right. It's he said, look, I've done too much work to get this far. It's like, running a marathon and not crossing the finish line with the tape. Yeah. So it is that type of environment that the kids, love playing it. They love the competitiveness. I think they hold each other accountable, which is even better. And I think it starts with Lincoln, and then it ends with leaders like Caleb and the other guys that just really want to win so bad and sort of become, Pac-12 champions, national champions, whatever they can, with the hand they're dealt. And a lot of times it's a lot of new players coming in that have to get used to the culture or used to the environment. And that's been the amazing part to me. So many new pieces, and he's able to get them all to gel together. That's just like picking up a free agent in the middle of the year and then saying, hey, come learn the plays in about 3 weeks. I mean, it's really difficult to do, but somehow he's found a way, and it's really impressive and something Trojan fans are really now appreciating.
What was your impression of the first Utah game, JJ, and what do you think Lincoln has in store for this championship game?
Well, the first thing I said after the first Utah game was Dalton, how do you say this? Kincaid? Yeah. Dalton Kincaid went shopping and bought the entire USC defense Christmas gifts. The coaches, everybody was going to get Christmas gifts because they made him look like a first teamer and get him drafted in the top 3 rounds of the draft. No question, the way he looked that first game. I mean, he's just a beast. And I think, it's funny. I had a chance to talk to somebody that I really respect as far as football knowledge. And we were talking about Utah's success, and he knows about Utah and follows the Pac-12 very closely. And the thing is Kincaid, and you got to credit the coaching staff at Utah, they made Kincaid the mismatch basically for all teams. Think about it. He's a tight end that gets the ball a lot. He's too fast for linebackers to cover him, but he's too big for cornerbacks to cover him. That's a natural mismatch every single game. And I think that's going to be the mismatch to watch in this game because Kincaid had such a good game. Utah obviously has to go back to that. He played too well that you got to test what USC has changed in order to try to stop him. That's going to be the big challenge because he's too quick for the linebackers or even to expect the linebackers to be able to cover him. And he's too fast. Too fast for the linebackers, but he's too big for the cornerbacks. He's just a mismatch, and it's just hard. What do? You can't put do you put Tuli Pelotu on him, the defensive lineman? I mean, who do you put on him? Try to stop him. That's going to be the difficulty because he's a natural mismatch for every team trying to stop him. He's just too big for the corners, and he's too fast for the linebackers. So that is where to start this game is the biggest problem. What do you do about him? Because they couldn't stop him at all in the first game. I said, you should put my son. If this was Pop Warner, I'd have put my son over there to stop him. I said, look, boy, get over there and stop this guy, or else you're not going to have anything to eat.
On the flip side, USC is going to make some changes. There are going to be some changes. Austin Jones is really come on the last couple of games, doing an admirable job replacing Travis Dye. What do you see Austin Jones? How do you see him being featured in this game?
Well, I think with Utah, I think they found out the first time you have to be balanced. You're not going to. They are good enough where they're not going to let you do one thing on them. They're in over the last couple of years, this defense has been, or the Utah defense. When I say this, the Utah defense has been able to neutralize, not necessarily stop completely, but neutralize certain offenses. Now the USC offense is obviously difficult to stop. And that's where people, I think, are missing it. A lot of USC fans are pointing the finger at the USC defense. It's not the USC defense that has been the problem with the points. It's the USC offense. The USC offense scores so fast, so quickly, and so much that's where the pressure is going to come in this game, and if USC is going to win. USC has to put pressure on Utah to match them score for score. If they don't, it's going to be Utah's game. But if USC can make the Utah offense feel a sense of desperation, or they have to score every time they touch the ball, because if they don't, USC's offense is going to score, that's where the mismatch comes, and that's where the pressure comes for Utah, is the sense of urgency that the USC offense can make them feel to have to score every time they touch the ball. If they can create that kind of pressure, it's like the Golden State Warriors in basketball. You're not trying to you forget about defending them. They're too talented. But you got to score, because Steph Curry's going to score every time down, or you're going to get offense is going to score.
Oh. Little technical difficulty there.
Oh, did we lose JJ?
See if we can get JJ back.
Yeah, I fully agree with what he's saying, though. We get out to these quick starts. People say that there's a reason why USC has 22 turnovers. If it happened in one game, be one thing. But when you press a team, you go up early, you force that team to start pressing, and that's when turnovers happen. And, by putting that pressure on them, by being the prolific scoring team that we are, going up and getting that lead forces them to get out of their game.
Oh, we got him back. Oh.
We don't have the audio, though.
Yeah. Can you tell him the audio's not working again? It's the same thing as before. All right, guys, we are here with legendary USC wide receiver and broadcaster John Jackson, who's also not only a son of a USC coach, but he's also the father of a USC player and a key part of USC's broadcasting team for many years, and just absolutely giving us fascinating insights, not only on the team, but on the game and the matchups that we've got coming ahead with the Pac-12 championship game. Our number one focus tonight is we're going to be talking a lot about that Pac-12 championship game. So it's going to be, of course, can we?
JJ, we're not hearing you.
We
can't hear you.
Can you text him and tell him it's the same audio issue?
I just texted him.
Okay.
Or you know what, Tony? Rick, if you can use your phone, maybe put the phone to the mic, and then we can hear him on his phone.
I'm going to call you, JJ. JJ, I'm going to call you, and we're going to put you on the speaker.
Can you guys hear me?
Can hear you. Perfect. We're going to do it this way, JJ. I got you on the phone.
Okay, so you got me. So
perfect.
As I was saying, the USC offense can put pressure on the Utah offense to have to score. And then that's when they might make mistakes and turn the ball over. And that's really been the pressure that other teams have felt when they face this Trojan team. They feel the pressure to have to score 40, 45 points. Like UCLA had to score 45 points, or like their quarterback said, they have to score 60 points to win. Well, it turned out he should never have said that, because that was the truth. If they were going to win, they had to score 60. And, of course, that creates a sense of urgency and desperation, which then you make mistakes. which leads to the way the Trojans have really won most of their games this year.
Absolutely. There's a comment in the chat. By the way, you're getting a lot of love. Comments like class act, guy was an amazing receiver. Ralph Wolf says former NFL player and major league, minor league player too. Just to let you guys know, JJ was on an amazing baseball team with the likes of Rodney Peete, Damon Buford, the legendary Jamie Davenport, Brett Boone, Brett Barbary. Brett Barbary and Brett Boone were longtime major leaguers on that team as well. That went on to the major league. So USC had a great baseball team. I think who was on that team as well? Was it Randy Tanner? Was Randy Tanner on that team too?
Randy Tanner was on the team.
Yeah.
Jeff Cirillo.
Oh, Jeff Cirillo. That's right.
Wow.
Oh, and Campanis.
Yep.
Jimmy Campanis.
Jim Campanis.
And until really recently, guys, everybody in the chat, just so you guys know, USC had won more College World Series championships than anybody else had even been to the tournament until real recently.
And they still have twice as many World Series championships as any other.
Yeah.
The second most is half as much as what USC has. That just shows you the dominance of USC baseball.
JJ was part of some legendary baseball teams and legendary football teams.
I would never call those guys legendary to their face. We don't, as a team, the last thing we want to do is give somebody a compliment.
Oh, that's so classic. Hey, JJ, we're going to have to wrap it up here. I mean, we appreciate your time, and what a special honor. But give us how you think this game is going to play out, and give us your score prediction if you have one.
Well, the interesting thing is, I think the team that loses first has a little bit of the advantage because USC is going to make changes. They have to. They cannot play the same game and expect to win. In Utah's case, they have to do something different. Now, I personally expect them to get the backup quarterback who's more agile, more of a runner. I expect them to get him involved, believe it or not.
Okay.
Somewhere in the offense, because they have to come up with something different. Utah is way too smart and way too talented with depth on their team, to not, extend. And I think that, to be honest with you, I think that that's what USC has to do. They got to come up with some surprises, because if you go out there and try to do the same thing you did the first time, it's already been proven that it doesn't work. So they're going to have to make some changes and surprises too. I would love to see, my personal thought is I'd love to see somebody like Raylan Goforth or some of those other backup linebackers, maybe safeties or whatever, get involved, because it'll be a new look for just changing some personnel or rotating some personnel will change the look for Utah. It won't be the same guys they've been studying for, whatever's been, weeks or whatever they've been since the last time we played them. So, it's just a new look and some changes, even with the current players that have been playing. Maybe line them up in different formations. Maybe some wildcat with the running backs. Something like that. Just snap to the running back and get that going. Just a different look. They actually got Caleb involved in the pass as a receiver last game. They tried. Did you see it?
Yeah.
They try to throw the ball. Stuff like that is big because it just, especially if it works, because the other team is not preparing for it nor expecting it.
They have him as a punter too. Not a bad punter.
Yeah, he punted. I think
That's punt of the season too.
You don't want to overdo it, because then the critics will say, "Oh, you try to do all these trick plays,
right,
and they didn't work." So, I think they got to stick to who they are. I was saying all year that this team has to develop an identity. Who are they? Are you trying to be the Boston Celtics, or are you going to try to be the Golden State Warriors? That's a big difference. And now I think they've settled in on they're the Golden State Warriors, and they're going to put pressure. The offense is going to put pressure on the other team because their offense is going to be efficient and score a lot of points, which makes a lot of pressure. If you told Utah you have to score 45 points to win, that's a lot of pressure, right? But as a Utah coach, do you plan on that? Do you go for 4th down and 2 when normally you would punt? I mean, those type of decisions come into play when you have an offense that's dynamic and efficient, which is what the USC offense has been doing, especially the second half of this year, and especially against good and against good teams like Notre Dame and UCLA. As hard as it is to me to say that they're good teams. So, no, but with Notre Dame and UCLA, those were good quality opponents, which is helping USC's ranking because they say, oh, they dominated Notre Dame. That's a quality opponent. And they were a quality opponent. They just, USC just humbled them. Notre Dame never seemed to even establish what they wanted to do. Do we still, at this point, do we know what Notre Dame's game plan was after the game? No. It's hard to tell. What were they actually trying to do? Not line up and punt. So, to me, that's the thing in this game where the fun for me as an announcer is to see what these teams are going to do differently, because I don't think either team can do exactly what they did in the first matchup and expect to win, even though Utah won that game. They can't do the exact same thing. They have to change things up. I think the quarterback getting involved will be it. If I'm right, guys, have me on next week so I can say I told you so.
You're welcome back every week.
You want to be here? Are you kidding me? You say when you want to be here, you can take the show over.
Yeah, let's make it the JJ show.
You know what, JJ? We're going to take you up on that because you're calling you're there with Pete Arbogast and your knowledge, and we'd love to have your breakdown of what happened during the game. So I'm going to hold you to it, JJ. We're going to have you back on.
Okay, you guys got it. I will be here.
All right, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Tim, Tony, do you have any final questions for JJ?
No, I just want to thank you again for joining us.
Week. I mean, I was going to ask about, like guys like Affolter, Pete, Irvins, all those guys, and ask about how the UCLA game, this is the best one since that 88 game, didn't turn on a turnover on a special teams play, but it was that interception that locked up the game. I got a million questions, but they can wait. I don't want to take everybody's time, but
now awesome. He's a co-host.
Wow.
Okay, so let me give you my brief version of the answer. I can't stand Rodney Peete. You know, you guys look at the film where you guys can break out the VHS tape. You will see on the Affolter catch, I was wide open on the post. That should have been the Jackson catch. I would have even bobbled it and made it a controversial catch. I'd have caught it with both feet in bounds easily. Catch, it should have been the Jackson catch.
It should have been.
To this day because of it. And somebody please tell him. Because
we're calling Rodney Peete and telling him.
Jackson catch, not the Affolter catch.
But you had to give the Bruins.
Oh, he did you wrong.
My career.
He did you wrong.
He wronged you.
Oh my God! This is what you get on the Voice of College Football. You get the true story,
the inside story.
Oh my God! Rodney Peete did John Jackson dirty. He was wide open. He wouldn't have bobbled it. JJ, you were smooth, man. You were smooth.
Look at it.
I'll get that VHS tape out.
It'll be, but still look at it. I was wide open on the post.
JJ, and we love you. Do you
my God, this is my favorite moment ever of the show.
Do you have a prediction on the score?
I don't have. I'm hard with the score. I think this is going to be must-see TV. To be honest with you,
all right.
I think the Trojans are. They'll be ready. They've been ready the whole time. And like I said, the pressure is going to come on whoever can put up points, because Utah, they want to score some points and then just milk the clock. That's the thing is USC, if they do get behind, do they get desperate? And that's what they have to avoid. They have to keep their, which they've been able to do all year, which is surprising, of course. They have not fallen apart when they've been in a tough game or a situation where they've had to come from behind. So that's been another thing when you get all these pieces coming together at one time to try to play as a team, as a unit, is that these guys have been with each other when they win, but how do they react when they're behind? And so far, they have passed the test. But can they keep doing that? That's the question, especially with as much at stake as there is, which is not only the Pac-12 championship, but all of us are looking for a national championship. That's why we got Lincoln Riley, right? So that's the beauty of the game, though, which is why, if you're a player, you cannot wait to play in this game because you remember how hard the summer workouts were. This is the easy part. This is this is finally getting the birthday cake. So that's the excitement of this game. Is there's a lot of pressure, on whoever scores first, or it's on the other team. Whoever gets a lead or whoever gets behind, what kind of reaction do they get? I think it's going to be a close game throughout. I don't think any team will pull away. It's going to be hard to score, to score 14 points in a row. I don't expect that at all. I expect it to go back and forth. Field goals being important, turnovers, of course, being important, and who's going to make the biggest mistake win. Who's going to turn the ball over? Who's going to hit the quarterback and there's not going to be ball security? A fumble, maybe a scoop and score touchdown, something like that. How's this game going to play out from when a team faces whoever's the first team to face adversity? That's what I can't wait to see. And hopefully the Trojans will be able to react to that. I still think the Trojans win in this, but I think it's under 7 points, which will be a close game throughout, and that means that it probably will come down to whoever has the ball left. So,
that's how it was the first game.
That's my prediction for the game, guys. Like I said, hold me to it. If remind me next week if we can get back to these topics. I will say that I'm wrong. Trust me.
Okay.
My kids will hold me to that.
We'll have you on Wednesday night. Clear your calendar, JJ. Hey, we loved having you. It's great to speak with you and to join us at the Voice of College Football, our Pac-12 live show. I'm sure by the comments we're getting in the chat, they love having you and appreciate the guy that you are, the broadcaster that you are now. Congratulations to your son, to your daughter, and fight on, man.
And the other son, and the little guy, him too. Fight on.
Have a great broadcast, and fight on, JJ. Thank you.
Thank you, JJ.
Guys,
we'll see
fight
you.
on.
Fight on.
Rick, when you said that, I thought you were messing with me.
About
when
what?
you told me you had John Jackson lined up, I'm like, okay, no, seriously. The players can't talk. They're not going to let them talk to us. And then no, John Jackson Jr. I'm like, no way that's going to happen. Only you can pull that off. That's amazing.
Only LBC gets us the GOAT.
That was amazing. Yeah, I have a million questions. I didn't want to. I mean,
we can go for hours. We could literally go for hours. I love that. I love that he was wide open. I don't know. I gotta look that up.